off your ass, you can't sit around and keep bullshit. That time ticking, I'm telling you, dog, man, that time ticking. Look, time is of the essence, you gotta use it, you can't waste it all. I remember growing up, my favorite thing to do was ball, but now I really try and get it. Whips and cribs and rollies with no diamonds in it. Gotta hold that value while that time is ticking. If you wanna talk a lot, just stop and listen. They giving out real game, you fuck around and miss it. Keep on running your mouth. Everything that I ever wanted, I stopped talking about. I had to really sit and focus. Really had to put some shit in motion. Now I'm in the game and I just flow with it. Can't rush me now. Anything negative in my way, then I just shut it down. I need positive energy. I'm trying to do some shit so when I'm gone, they remember me.
Happy Frankie Friday. Welcome to the Blue Collar Podcast. I'm your host, Rashard Pringle. I know you guys are wondering where have I been. I moved locations, obviously. As you guys can see, I'm not in my apartment in Daytona Beach, Florida anymore. I'm currently in Jacksonville, Florida. My hometown, Duval County. I had to move closer to home, get back to my people, get back to my grassroots so I can truly put out a product that you guys will watch and appreciate. And you guys know that it's coming from a genuine soul. Today's episode, however, is about discernment and decisions. I've had to make a lot of decisions in the past couple months with what I want to do in life, things that I appreciate, the people that I love, having a heavy heart with discernment and learning discernment even at the age of 28. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it. You know, we guys always have the quote of the day and the scripture of the day. So the quote of the day: being strong doesn't always mean standing your ground and fighting battles. Sometimes just summoning the courage to walk away with your head held high and your pride intact is the greatest show of strength. So write that down for me. It's not always about who's the biggest, who's the strongest. Sometimes the best person walks away from the situation alive, breathing well, with a conscious mind, already knowing like, yeah, they said what they said. Maybe they disrespected me. However, I'm walking away with my dignity in my life. I'm thinking about the bigger picture, especially if you have kids and things of that nature. I don't know if people actually think about these things when they're in situations in life. Never be afraid to be the bigger person and just walk away. That shows more strength of character than anything. So you can be a macho man, you can buck up, you can do whatever you want to harm the person that's attacking you verbally, physically. Physically, that's a different story. However, verbally, you can walk away from it. You have the decision to walk away. You have a choice to make. And if you decide to intrude yourself with the altercation, that's on you. If you decide to walk away, that makes you the better person. Always remember that. The scripture, Proverbs chapter 13, verse 3. Those who control their tongue will have a long life. Opening your mouth can ruin everything. Please understand that whatever you say out your mouth is always a reflection of you, no matter what you say. I'm a believer of that. Control your tongue, control your tone with whoever you're talking to, whoever you have a problem with, no matter what it is. Always tell people your tongue will take you places that your feet wouldn't dare walk. And I don't think people really understand that quote. So people can blab on about 100 different things, but they don't have the heart to walk into the same room where they're insulting people or people are behind keyboards and things of that nature. So be careful with what you say to people. Even if you think, oh, I said what I had to say, cool. But even if you feel like it wasn't that much, the man upstairs might feel a little different and you might have consequences to face. So just always think before you speak. So we got some key points today, and people might ask, what's discernment? Discernment is the ability to grasp, understand, and judge things clearly, often acting as a bridge between rational decision-making and profound understanding. A lot of people don't understand that discernment can cost you finances. Don't allow discernment to guide your feelings as far as in a certain manner. Discernment. A lot of people might be asking, what's the definition of discernment? Discernment is the ability to grasp, understand, and judge things clearly, often acting as a bridge between rational decision-making and profound understanding. Not guided by feelings, but more so your third eye of reflection and poise. Discernment can make you or break you, whether you have good discernment or bad discernment. And I tell people this all the time with the decisions that they make in life. And I'm a person that has made terrible decisions, from flunking out of school, embarrassing myself, my parents. I made terrible decisions that cost me money, cost me time, cost me mainly time. And you can't get time back. Time isn't free. Time costs money. I want people to understand that. So the more time you spend making bad decisions, the more money you'll spend and the more heartache you'll have. I just want you to understand that always have good discernment, know which direction you want to go in, and always in a positive direction. So we got some key points. The first key point, think before you act, slow down and reflect. A lot of people talk about think before you act, but they don't really dive deeper into it. But it's pretty much a common sense type of topic. Think before you act. A lot of people see action happen and then they react. But you have to think about what's at stake for yourself, what's at stake for your family. A lot of people don't consider those things because it's always, well, this happened, so I'm going to react this way. No, you can't. It doesn't really work that way, because it's different factors now in the world to where you can react. What if it's not caught on camera? Or what if people don't see it that way? What if you get prosecuted for doing something the right way, however it's perceived another way? You have to think about these type of things in a split second, because in a split second, you can make a decision and feel like, oh yeah, I did the right thing, but you end up behind bars for years, or end up on probation and doing things that mainly happen because you made a bad decision. And there's some people out here that are willing to die on their principles and their morals. However, principles and morals come with consequences. They might come with jail time. They might come with some time where you are spending a lot of money on stuff that you probably don't want to spend money on, but you have to in order to get back on the right track in life. Clear example, coaches and officiating. Think before you act. I'm a third year high school official, first year college official. I did junior college this year. And as a referee for college and high school basketball, I have to think before I respond. If I don't think before I respond, I'm out of a job. Talking about money every month, money every week that's coming in. Living expenses are at stake behind what I say out of my mouth on the court while in competition. I have to think about these things. If I don't think about these things, I can lose myself and I can lose my job. My integrity is at stake on a daily. So I'm constantly using discernment to guide me to where I need to go with these people, to work with these people, because I'm going to see them all the time. If I'm seeing the same people all the time, and I deal with all kinds of coaches that curse me out, tell me that I'm a new guy, I'm not shit, all this other stuff. We're just, okay, coach, cool. But you speak with your whistle. You don't speak with your mouth. Your mouth will get you in trouble. My whistle is a part of my job. Therefore, I use my whistle to conduct myself in the manner that needs to be conducted. So if a coach is like, fuck you, Pringle, blah, 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 cool, technical foul on the coach, and we move on. I don't say, coach, fuck you too. Because then it's like, whoa, ref, like, you don't have composure. Even if I want to say fuck you, I can't say that. I can't. I have to keep a certain level of professionalism to where it represents, hey, this guy said this, the referee stayed in his lane, he kept it professional, reward the referee. And I always get the good say so because I keep my composure. I think before I speak. Think before you speak. That's why you have one mouth and two ears. Listen to what the guy is saying. I'll embrace everything he's saying. And I've had coaches call me all kind of dipshits, rockheads, stupid motherfuckers, rookie, bald face, all kind of shit, because I don't have facial hair during the season. So insults. But I take them, sweep them under the rug. I just take a mental note of it and I move on. That's what you're supposed to do in any situation in life, especially if it costs you jail time, all different types of things. Bullet point number 2, get all info and facts together before you act on your decision. A lot of people get caught up in tunnel vision. Once they like, oh yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And then it gets them nowhere. It doesn't get them in a positive direction. You have to gather information on a situation before you can say, hey, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Like, no, you have to get facts straight. You have to line things up before you make your final decision, before you make any decision. Just like police can say, hey, a kid died on the side of the street. He was shot by so-and-so. He's right there. Well, how do I know? If only one person shot him and one person is saying, no, I seen so-and-so shoot him. Well, then you got a whole different type of situation. But therefore, you have to get all the facts straight. So you might have one person trying to cover up for the other, or somebody just trying to interject someone else into the situation. You might have somebody that has 3 strikes that actually did the crime, and they're behind the scenes. You have to think about these type of situations. Therefore, get all info straight, get your facts straight before you make a final decision. Number 3, analyze data and double check your work. Analyze data and double check your work. When you double check your work, you're confirming everything. You're making sure that, hey, X, Y, and Z did this. I reacted this way. I used this amount of discernment, and this is why we have this result. You have to be positive in your decision making, in your discernment. Number 4, check alignment with your purpose. What I mean by this, once you make your decision, make sure that your decision aligns with the purpose of the whole goal intact. What I mean by that, you can say, hey, yeah, I want to do this, but make sure long term, this is something that you actually want to do. You want to go through with this. Are you sure your final decision is parallel with your long-term goal? Do things match up? If it doesn't match up, then, hey, I need to go back to the drawing board. Maybe I need to go back to step 3 where, hey, I analyze my data. Maybe I gotta go to step back to step 2, where I have to gather information, make sure things are in order. These are things that you have to constantly think about when you're making these decisions. So step 4, check your alignment with your purpose. If your purpose is in a positive direction and it aligns with all of your data and things that you found that's gonna prove that you're in the right, you're good to go. 5, check your motive and your resilience level. It's motive behind everything that you do in life. It's purpose behind everything that you do in life. So when you talk about motive and what you're actually trying to pursue, what you're trying to prove wrong or prove right to people, make sure it's in a positive direction. I'm the type of person where I've been done wrong and felt rage through my system, my blood, and I wanted to make things right, but in an evil way. And that's not the way to go about things, because you don't get rewarded through evil. God doesn't reward evil people. He might give them some resources, but it's to trip themselves over. And that's ultimately what he does to people, to evil people. Over time, your decisions, they'll come back to haunt you. If you make bad decisions, they will come back to haunt you. Discernment is everything. It's about the direction that you take. Whatever direction you decide to go with, whatever you deal in life. When you're pursuing something in life, make sure your resilience level is level and you're level-headed. You can be looking to fuck somebody over very, very badly, but God might be saying, hey, you shouldn't do this. I don't feel like you should do this. It's not right. But you're like, nah, hell nah, they did this to me. So you just wipe away all the steps that we talked about, because you're so angry that you want to get revenge. Revenge isn't everything. Take it from somebody that has been fucked over and said, yeah, I'm gonna get my get back, and got my get back. And God was like, yeah, you got your get back, but I got this for you to show you why you shouldn't have did what you did. Because I was gonna do the job, but you took it upon yourself because you didn't trust in me. That says a lot. Be confident in your choices. Don't be a person that makes a choice and you back up in your decision and you regret it. Be confident. I have to make calls on the basketball court at times where I don't want to make the call, but I have to make the call because it's the right call. I have to upset coaches because that's just a part of the game. Coaches might be losing by 30 and their players are hacking and fouling and doing all things to fuck up the game. And I have to call a foul on them. And the coach is like, well, I'm down 30. Well, coach, I'm sorry. Player did X, Y, and Z. And you can choose to, I can put myself in a position where, hey, the game is almost over and I can argue with this coach. I can go back and forth with him. Or I can say, hey, I'm moving forward, coach. The game is almost over. I understand you're frustrated that your team is losing, but it's nothing I can do to help you. I appreciate you guys tuning in for episode 5. This is the Blue Collar Podcast. I'm Rashard Pringle. Happy Frankie Friday. This is me in raw form.